name's Nora Bumanis. I'm the principal harpist of the Edmonton Symphony, and I've been playing with the orchestra since 1980. And they've been generous enough to invite me to perform a solo in front of the orchestra. And it's a piece by Claude Debussy, and it's called Danses, sacree et profane, which is the sacred dance and the profane dance. Now, this sounds like it may have some sort of a religious text, but it doesn't actually. It's more about the feel of the piece rather than the text. Debussy loved to write about the sensation of music rather than about notes. It was all about how he felt. This piece was commissioned by the Brussels Conservatory to demonstrate a new type of harp, and it was called a chromatic harp, a new chromatic harp. Before this time, which is around 1903, the harp could only play basically in one key. So it really couldn't play in the orchestra because it couldn't play all the notes. Then they added another set of strings, and these strings were cross-strung like this. I just can't imagine playing that harp. It would be very, very confusing. But one set of strings were the sharps and flats, or the black keys, like on the black keys of the piano. The other set of strings were the diatonic, or the white keys of the piano. This harp did not actually survive. And what they did was replaced it with a set of 7 foot pedals. So this piece has now been adapted to play with a harp, a fully chromatic harp that has the 7 foot pedals that move the strings. They tighten and loosen the strings to make the sharps and flats for you. I'll give you an example. Here's a C string. If you can see this red string here, it's in C natural. If I move the pedal up, it can play C flat. If I move the pedal all the way down, it can play C sharp. So every note on the harp can play 3 different pitches or tones. So I'm going to just show you a little bit about how these pedals work. I'll play a little passage from the Debussy, and if you can watch my feet, I'll just show you how this works. Constantly moving throughout the piece every time I change an accidental or a sharp and flat. This piece was premiered in 1903 and has become a really important part of the repertoire for harpists. I'd say prior to that there were a few concertos, but not many, and this really brought the harp into the forefront and made a lot of other composers pay attention to this instrument, and they started to write a lot more for it. The opening of this piece in the sacred dance, very beautiful, very haunting. This piece is written for harp and strings only, so there are no woodwinds or brass or percussion in the piece. And it just starts out with a haunting melody. And this theme will recur throughout the piece, and it's actually, he's paying homage to ancient Portuguese and Spanish dance styles. In the second dance, the dance profane, it's more of a lilting waltz. It's a very, actually, delightful piece, very sweet. Section called the dream page, which is very dreamy and sensuous. Debussy, as you can see, it's really lovely, very, very pleasant, easy listening music, but also quite thought-provoking as well. So I hope you'll join me on January 9th or 10th for the Master Series, where this piece will be featured, as well as a Mozart Symphony and Richard Strauss Bourgeois Gentilhomme. And please join me Friday in the lobby afterwards for afterthoughts, and feel free to ask me more questions. Thank you.